Today, we're digging into the story of a global superstar, a Formula One legend whose life is really a tale of two completely different and pretty starkly contrasting chapters. This is the story of Michael Schumacher. It's a question that's been hanging in the air for, over a decade now? This was a man who lived his entire life in the fastest of lanes, with millions watching his every move. So how did the deafening roar of the crowd get replaced by this profound and fiercely protected silence? That's what we're going to break down. Okay, so let's just lay it all out there. On one side, you have the legend we all knew, right? The absolute titan. 7 world titles, 91 victories, a level of global fame that few people on this planet will ever achieve. And then you have the other side, the private reality since 2013. A man who hasn't been seen, living a life that is completely shielded from the world. It's like two different universes. But to really get a handle on the silence, you first have to understand the noise that came before it. So let's rewind. Let's go back to Act 1, the creation of the icon they called the Red Baron. This was a story of just pure, relentless ambition. His rise was just insane. He started karting when he was only 4 years old, and his family was so strapped for cash they were literally using discarded tires from other racers. Then, boom, it's 1991. He gets this last-minute F1 drive at the legendary Spa circuit, a track he'd never even seen before, and qualifies astonishing 7th. From there, it was just a straight shot to the top. 2 titles with Benetton before he made the one move that would define his entire legacy, Ferrari. 7. Just let that sink in for a second. 7 world championships. For the longest time, this was the Mount Everest of Formula One. It was a number everybody thought was completely untouchable. And then there's this number, 91. 91 wins. This wasn't just about winning titles. It was about a kind of week-in, week-out dominance that set the standard for an entire generation of drivers. But here's the thing that really set him apart. His genius wasn't just behind the wheel. When he went to Ferrari in '96, they were a mess, in a slump for over 2 decades. He didn't just drive for them, he rebuilt them. He literally handpicked the masterminds like Ross Brawn and Rory Byrne, creating that legendary dream team that would just conquer the sport. He was more than a driver. He was an architect. So he retired, made a comeback, and then retired for good in 2012. He'd earned that quiet life, right? But just 1 year later, that's when the pivotal moment came. The day that splits his entire story right down the middle into before and after. This is the date, the one that marks the end of his public life as we knew it. So what happened? He was on a family holiday, skiing with his son, Mick. It was an off-piste accident, a fall where his head hit a rock. And even though he was wearing a helmet, the impact was catastrophic. It caused a severe traumatic brain injury. He was immediately airlifted to a hospital and put into a medically induced coma, just to try and save his life. And that right there was the beginning of Act 2. After months in a coma, he was eventually moved back to his family home in Switzerland. And that is when the curtain of privacy came down hard. A whole new reality began. For years, we heard almost nothing. Total silence. Then, in a 2021 documentary, his wife Corinna offered this one rare, incredibly powerful glimpse into their world. She said, "Michael is here, different, but he's here, and that gives us strength." It's a statement that says absolutely everything without revealing anything specific. It just conveys the powerful love that defines their new life. And this really became their North Star, their guiding principle. Official health updates, they're rare, and they're simple. He is fighting. Public appearances, 0, non-existent. It's all guided by one powerful rule that Corinna stated herself. Private is private. They're protecting him now, just like he always protected them from the spotlight. And the commitment to this private care, it's just immense. Reports suggest his round-the-clock, state-of-the-art rehab costs millions of dollars every single year. To fund this, the family has reportedly sold assets, including his private jet. It's a real testament to their dedication to give him the best possible quality of life, no matter the cost. But here's the incredible part. Even in his absence, his legacy doesn't just survive, it thrives. That Schumacher spirit of determination, of fighting, it continues on in very public and very powerful ways. You see it everywhere, right? You see it in his son, Mick, who carried that famous Schumacher name right back into Formula One. You see it in the history books, where his rebuilding of Ferrari is still seen as this legendary feat. And you see it in the fighting spirit that's been turned into a real force for good through a foundation in his name. That foundation, the Keep Fighting Foundation, it's the perfect extension of who he is. It takes that famous on-track mentality of never giving up and applies it to the real world. It funds vital neuroscience research and promotes road safety, causes that are now, of course, deeply personal. Which brings us all the way back to where we started. In our modern world where every celebrity's life feels like an open book, Michael Schumacher's story poses a really profound question. What's the ultimate legacy here? Is it the trophies and the records? Or is it a powerful, silent statement about privacy, about dignity, and about a family's unbreakable love? It's a legacy of two lives, one of incredible noise and one of profound quiet. And both are equally powerful.